Tonight, we're getting to the sixth level, the dimension of intelligence of justice. So from love without end, justice is the intelligence of exchange and balance, from the most elemental particles to the most complex human situations. When a balance is maintained, health prevails. Now, this is true from a healthy person to a healthy planet. Through practicing balance and fair exchange, you will develop wisdom in your discourses with life and with others. Exchange only for your own profit will weaken the intelligence of your heart. Justice is the principle of fairness. You're not here to overgive or undergive. As you give with the true fullness of your heart, so does the universe return to you in kind. Refraining from undervaluating the worth of your presence, you open the doors of the wealth you are here to share with each other. Now, in this one paragraph of wisdom from the words of Yahshua are multiple topics of direct implication of the heart's intelligence to our lives. Exchange and balance is the universal ebb and flow in the dance of life. As we proceed from the stable ground of unity, first level of the heart's intelligence, in our connection with Source, to the fluidity in the expressions of love, and trusting the path of life to give us the resources we need to evolve and grow together, we in turn honor and respect each other's being's covenant with the Creator, and consequently are honest in our relationships with ourselves and them. This leads directly to the intelligence of justice in that ebb and flow. Staying balanced keeps us in the center current with access to the full power of the river of life. I love that analogy because one year when our children were old enough to attend summer language camps in the forests of Minnesota, my wife and I took the opportunity to travel to Peru and visit Machu Picchu. On the way there, we took a raft trip on the Urubamba River in the Sacred Valley of the Gods, as it's called. Now, unbeknownst to us, just by chance, or if you can say it's chance, a river guide turned out to be the Peruvian national kayak champion. We had done a lot of river rafting in many parts of the world and were prepared for an exciting adventure. But the lessons we received were more than we expected. He was teaching us to feel the river and to be at one with it, such that any adjustments we made to our raft came from this inner guidance rather than just our outer senses. Then, with minor tweaks, we began to navigate through rapids with an ease and delight we had never before experienced. He gave us a first-hand experience of how little effort it took to enjoy the wildest of rides with safety and confidence as we kept our balance and listened to the river. Now, of course, we had the benefit of having him in the raft with us, but the apprentice that he was teaching was in a kayak on his own and fared much worse in going through the biggest rapids. Now, trusting our inner senses of balance, of course, takes practice. Our life will have steady, calm, flowing times as well as challenging rapids. It's up to us to enjoy the beauty and pleasure of each, rather than bemoaning that we don't have enough excitement or too much of it. I do daily practices for physical, emotional, and mental balance, and the foundation for them all is the spiritual balance of the heart. Now, you don't have to go river rafting to practice these skills. A trip to the grocery store may afford you the practice of allowing a pedestrian to cross the street in a timely manner while you're driving, allowing the cars you encounter to take turns at an intersection with grace. Purchase the items you need at the store to balance your diet and your budget. Sense what is a fair price for each item. Politely adjust a transaction if you are overcharged or undercharged. Feel like you are in the flow of a supportive universe standing in the checkout line, and have patience as a train transporting goods to another city crosses the road in front of you on the way home. All these daily incidents give us practice in staying in our heart with the intelligence of fairness and justice, with balance and joy rather than in our mind with fears of lack and impatience. So let's do a brief inventory of our typical times of imbalance and impatience and what might be a theme common to them for each of us, an emotion driving them from an antidote to their infection, finding out how to deal with that fear underneath. So in a few minutes, you will take handout 1, internal justice, and complete first. I have felt out of balance and unfair to myself when, and then we'll look at what's the underlying fear for that being out of balance, and what's the balancing truth. I've felt out of balance and unfair with others when, again, what's the fear and the balancing truth. And thirdly, I have felt out of balance and unfair to the world when, your underlying fear and the balancing truth. So, for example, I wrote, I have felt out of balance and unfair to myself when I stay up too late completing useful tasks or distracting diversions. Either one can be an excuse for not getting the rest I need. The underlying fear is that I have to overcompensate for not being enough with activities of working too hard or distracting myself from what I think I should be doing, but don't want to, like doing some of my Neigong exercises. Balancing truth underneath that is that my inner sense of self-care now keeps me in balance and fulfilled in my work and play. To be sure, that underlying or balancing truth is going to take practice. But unless we don't even know what it is, we keep on repeating the same habits over and over and then complaining about them. Number 2, I felt out of balance and unfair with others when I feel I need to live up to their expectations and then resent them for having expectations. So the underlying fear is I will be rejected and judge myself harshly if I don't please others whose love that I want, but the love that I've withheld from myself and just try to get it by pleasing them. So the balancing truth is I'm increasingly feeling mutual balance and fairness in all my relationships. The last one, I felt out of balance and unfair to the world when I think that I'm the victim of the unconsciousness of humanity. Underlying fear is my well-being is dependent on careless people. What's a balancing truth? I live safety and creatively engaged in a world of evolving beings. Now, this is especially true if you get involved in media, because media is designed to grab your attention by finding out what's the pain point, as they call it, what's the fear underneath it. And if you notice yourself getting polarized as you're watching media or reading the newspaper, it'll take something. It'll take conscious effort to stay balanced in that. So let's go back here now and complete handout 1. Take several minutes to do this and don't overthink it. Just take what comes from your heart. Let's do that together now. If you don't have handout 1, just use a piece of paper and I will keep the handout questions on the screen for you. Okay, and let's remove handout 1 with the intention of practicing just balance more often, either by design, consciously setting out in your day to do that, or just spontaneously as it becomes more second nature to you in your life, to allow ease and pleasurable flow to fill your days. So let's take a few shares again. And what was valuable for you in this exercise? Something you discovered about yourself, or maybe a question that you have? Yeah.
Hello there. Yeah, well, that was really nice. I didn't get the third one finished, but it's just a really nice reminder that there's such a bigger flow and a bigger me. For example, the first one, I felt out of balance and unfair with myself when I distract myself from doing things that I'm supposed to. Right now, I've got to move, so I have to start going through my stuff. The underlying fear is there's a couple actually. I'm not good enough. I'll wind up somewhere I won't want to be. I'm being deserted. I'll have too much stuff. I won't be ready to move when the time's right. But the balancing truth is everything is working perfectly in the background to support my move and growth with joy.
Oh, that is so spot on. That's wonderful. People seldom recognize what a big deal that is to move where you live,
Yeah, yeah,
because we're so attached to safety and comfort and being in the environment that we've created,
yeah.
surrounded ourselves with our posters and our knickknacks and grandma's
Mhm.
couch and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it really does eat at our underlying sense of safety in life. So
Yes,
having that discretion to be able to change the thoughts around that doesn't mean everything is just going to,
right.
hunky dory, but you can take a lot of that energy that's going into worry and anxiety and have it be for more ease and pleasure, or getting busy and calling someone for help when you need it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Anyone else? Another share?
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble with this exercise, and I think it's just getting out of the workday and shifting to being really present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I first started off with just trying to figure out what I felt with each one. I didn't get to the fear or the truth yet,
Okay. Well, we
but
can help you with that.
okay. So the first one, I have felt out of balance and unfair to myself when I feel like I'm in trouble for something I should have done.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds familiar. And so, what's the fear of what's going to happen when you get in trouble?
The fear of what's going to happen if I'm going to be in trouble is I'm not going to be loved.
Yeah. Well, you get right down to the core of it. That, yeah.
Yeah.
What would be a balancing truth?
Can you help me? How would I get to the balancing truth?
So, the fear is I'm going to not be loved. So, a balancing truth would be I'm accomplishing what I can with balance in my life and love myself for what I can do and forgive myself for what I can't.
But what if I was being lazy and playing video games? I mean,
Well, no, this is a good one. Yeah, no, this is a good one. We were talking about this actually. Sometimes it is by goofing off that we actually get a bigger reward, not in goofing off, but what is the fear underneath that that causes me to go to what?
escapes, like soft addictions, right?
Yeah, what is it that would take me to that place? So, what am I telling myself? For example, when I get hooked on Facebook Reels, they're just so attractive. And they have algorithms that always bring up the kind of reels that I like. They know how to do that. For example, for me, there's often a little 3-year-old inside that's saying, I want to have some fun. I've worked too hard. I've done enough. It's time for me to just enjoy something I like, and I'm not eating sugar, so I can watch this video, da 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 da. And
Okay.
so there's a part of me that feels like I've been unfair to myself, and I deserve this goofing off time. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to immediately straighten up and do the right thing, but at least I'm becoming a little aware of like, yeah, maybe I am pushing myself a little more
So
than.
I have a question on that. So, what is the importance of balance and feeling fair? Because I feel like more things get done when people push themselves and their personal traumas that get them to have this like unfettered drive do as much as possible. Can a human being achieve really big goals by being balanced and fair?
Well, you see, if balance means to you that you're always in the middle of the road and you're not too hot and too cold, but a balance might mean that you do really pour on the gas and work for a while, and then you take off. But if your foot gets stuck on the gas all the time, then all of a sudden it's not as rewarding. As a matter of fact, it's not even that efficient.
And you're 44 and burnt out with work and wondering what to do with your life and coming to take these classes?
Yes,
Got it. Okay, so again, what was
what's the balancing truth?
the balancing truth?
Yeah, it could
Um,
be I'm going to love myself whether I goof off or not. It could
got
be.
it.
I just throw out examples.
Sure.
That's something that comes to my mind, but it's not necessarily your balancing truth.
So for me, the balancing truth would be that no matter what I do or don't do, I'm lovable.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's not that underlying gnawing thing that I'm not okay. Sometimes that just causes me to goof off more because I'm not okay no matter what I do. So I'm just going to, The fact is, I get pleasure out of accomplishing some things. And I also get pleasure out of knowing how to enjoy my time and not push all it. So it's like, this might sound a bit hedonistic, but what is it that gives me the greatest sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in my life? It's going to be different for you than it is for me, different for every one of us here. Thank you for giving us something to work on as a collective here. Okay.